Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting out on a real adventure. A path that's known for being incredibly thrilling, super challenging, and yeah, maybe even rewarding. We're gonna break down the trader's journey. But what does that journey actually look like? You know, when you strip away all the Hollywood hype, all the scenes of people screaming on a trading floor, what does it really take to become a trader? Well, that's exactly what we're gonna find out. So every journey has gotta have a starting point, right? For any trader, that first step is just understanding the world you're about to enter. So let's get right to it and answer the most basic question of all. What even is trading? Okay, so at its heart, trading is really all about one thing: speculation. See, you're not usually buying a piece of Apple to, hold on to for the next 30 years. Nah. Instead, you're looking at an asset's price, analyzing how it's moving, and then making a calculated bet. Is it gonna go up or is it gonna go down? It's kind of like a fast-paced dance with the market's pulse. And you can totally see why this is so attractive to so many people, right? I mean, just look at this combo. You've got the chance to profit whether the market is up or down. You can get into global markets. We're talking stocks, forex, gold, you name it. There's the potential for some pretty significant returns. And you get the flexibility to do it all on your own time. That is the dream that pulls so many people in. Okay, forget all the words and definitions for a second and just look at this. This is the arena. This is the battlefield. Every single one of those little bars you see, that's the constant tug of war between buyers and sellers. It's a story of greed and fear, hope and panic, all playing out in real time. This is the world you're thinking about stepping into. But look, you wouldn't set off on a cross-country trip without a map, would you? Same thing here. Before you even think about risking a single penny, you've got to build your foundation, your knowledge. So let's talk about your learning roadmap. So your map is basically built on 4 huge pillars. First up, you've got technical analysis. Think of this as the art of reading the charts, spotting the patterns. Then there's fundamental analysis. This is more like being a detective, digging into a company's health or the state of an economy. You also have to get a grip on the different market types. Stocks, forex, they all behave differently. And then the big one, the most important pillar of all, is risk management. That's the one skill that actually keeps you in the game long enough to win. Now, out of all that information, I want you to zero in on this one thing right here, the candlestick. This little guy is your #1 tool for technical analysis. It looks pretty simple, right? But it packs a whole story into one little shape. Where the price opened, where it closed, the highest it went, the lowest it went. Seriously, learning to read these things is like learning to speak the market's secret language. All right, so you've got your map. Now it's time to actually take those first few steps. And the key here, the absolute key, is to start with the smallest risk possible. This is not a sprint, folks. It's all about survival and learning the ropes. So how do you actually do that? Well, the steps are pretty straightforward. First, start small. And I mean small. Only use capital you are genuinely okay with losing. Number 2, and this is totally non-negotiable, use a demo account first. Practice with fake money. Then, find the right broker, build a solid trading plan before you start, and last but not least, keep a detailed record, a journal, of every single trade you make. Don't you dare skip that last part. That journal, that's where your mistakes turn into your best teachers. And this quote right here, it perfectly sums up the mindset you need. Look, your goal isn't to hit a home run on every single trade. It's about protecting your money so you can stay in the game long enough to actually learn how to play it. Your capital is your lifeblood. Your first job, your only job at the beginning, is to preserve it. Okay, so you've got the tools, you've taken your first steps, but now you come face to face with the biggest challenge of all. And it's not out there in the market. No, it's right between your own ears. We're talking about mastering the trader's mindset. Get a load of this. Ask any seasoned trader, and a lot of them will tell you that success in this game is about 90% mindset and only 10% strategy or skill. Think about that. 90%. It just goes to show you how absolutely critical your mental game is. Most of the time, you are your own worst enemy. To succeed, you basically have to build this suit of psychological armor. It all starts with pure dedication. to learning, constantly. That leads to self-awareness, where you can actually see your own weak spots. That awareness is what fuels the discipline you need to stick to your plan, no matter what. And that is what builds real earned confidence. The glue holding it all together? Emotional control. The skill of telling fear and greed to take a backseat. But listen, every hero's journey has its monsters to fight, right? And in the world of trading, those monsters, they're your own emotions. And this diagram right here, this is the dragon you have to slay. It's the famous cycle of market emotions. Just follow the path. It starts with a little optimism, then a trade goes your way, and bam, euphoria. You feel like a genius. But then the market turns. Anxiety starts to creep in, then denial, then straight up fear. And finally, you hit capitulation. You panic, you sell everything right at the bottom, only to watch the market turn around and rally without you. Sound familiar to anyone? The entire game is learning how to break this cycle with pure discipline. In that emotional roller coaster we just talked about, it leads you straight into these classic traps. That feeling of euphoria, it makes you jump in blind, with no real education. That fear and greed, they're what take over when you don't have a trading plan. That panic, that's what leads to terrible risk management. And that feeling of desperation, that's what makes you chase your losses, which is, by the way, the absolute fastest way to blow up your account. They're all just symptoms of the same problem. So after you've learned to navigate the markets on the outside and, more importantly, the battle inside your own head, what does the actual path to success look like long-term? Let's get real and take a look at the horizon. Let's be crystal clear about something. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. The first 1 to 3 months, that's just for learning the absolute basics and practicing on a demo account. Then, for the next few months, you're a beginner, using tiny bits of real money where your main job is just learning from mistakes. It can honestly take 6 months to a year and a half just to get to an intermediate level, where you're finally honing your strategy and starting to see some consistency. Real, consistent profitability, for most, that doesn't even start to show up until after 18 months of serious, dedicated work. Which really brings us full circle, back to the central idea of this whole thing. There is no finish line. There's no "I've made it" moment. Success isn't some destination you just arrive at one day. It's found in the process, in the journey itself, where every single step, every mistake, every lesson, it all builds on the last one. So look, if you take away only one single thing from all this, let it be this right here. Success in trading is a marathon. It is absolutely not a sprint. It demands patience, it demands resilience, and it demands a whole lot of respect for the long road you're on. So there you have it. The path is laid out. It's going to demand education, a ton of practice, and a whole lot of mental strength. And just like any journey, it all starts with that first step. So the real question isn't just, are you ready to begin? It's, are you ready to face the toughest opponent you will ever meet in the market? Which, of course, is you.